Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, we all know it's starting to become a big mess out here. A lot of people using their jobs. The UPS done laid off over 20,000 people. Student loans are starting to be reported. People's wages getting garnished. People, more jobs are being lost and everything. And so now it's going to make it harder for people to get loans from the banks and credit unions. So the thing about it, I put together a list of some lenders, up to 15 lenders that you may want to check out to see if they'll help you. Now, for you guys that do have a job, I always tell you the number one thing for you to do is go to your HR, file that form, the W-4 form, so they can stop taking income taxes out of your check so you can bring home a bigger paycheck to pay your bills. A lot of people miss this opportunity because it's an interest-free loan. And I tell you to do it for 3 to 4 months, okay, to give yourself some cushion. Especially, like I said, when you have student loans and they start talking about garnishing your wages, you have people that have Social Security benefits. They're talking about garnishing their Social Security benefits. But like I said, I made a separate video saying that when it comes to like government assistance and stuff like that, more likely they cannot garnish those. But like direct wages, taking away taxes and stuff, yes, they can take those, all right? But that being said, let me tell you about some of these loans. Now, please understand, most of the loans that you may end up having a bigger chance with is going to be your tribal lenders, okay? And the reason is because they do not follow the same regulations as traditional banks and credit unions, okay? So that's the reason they focus more on your income versus your credit scores, all right? And I'll tell you why many people for these type of loans they get denied. I'll explain to you later, but the main thing is being able to point you in the right direction. Also, one other thing before we get into these loans, I want you all to know, go to find, F-I-N-D, help, HELP.org, and put in your zip code. It's going to tell you all of the free resources to help you get caught up on your rent, your utility bills. If you have medical issues, you need transportation, that platform actually will tell you different places that may be able to give you assistance as well. All right. That being said, let's talk about some of these loans. Now, the first one is with Credit Fresh. Okay. Now, Credit Fresh, they offer a line of credit. Now, here's the thing about it. I always tell you guys, whenever a company is offering a line of credit, it's better than a loan, because once you apply for it and you get approved for it, then at that point, you don't have to continue applying for it, all right? So that's the reason why I tell you about Credit Fresh. Now, here's the thing about it that I definitely want to tell you. Again, with some of these tribal lenders, the interest rates is going to be high. I cannot lie to you guys and say the interest rate. But however, when you have a 500 credit score, you may have some income and you need somebody to loan you money and you can't go to other people, you definitely have to do what you have to do, right? And so that's the reason why I try to be as fair as possible and talk about the ones that probably will be more sympathetic to your situation, okay? Now, that being said, the next lender you're talking about is Credit Cube. Again, another tribal lender that loans up to $5,000. Then you have Post Lake Lending. Now, with Post Lake Lending being a tribal lender, they go up to $3,000. Now, for some of you all, you may want to know, well, where do they get the money from? Whenever you go to a casino and you gamble your money and you lose that money, guess what? They take that money and they set up shop and they reloan that money out at a higher interest. Okay, so that's where tribal lenders get their money. Because remember, they are exempt from taxes and things of that nature. So they have access to capital and stuff to be able to take a chance. Now, you do have different peer-to-peer lenders out there. Again, those type of lenders, they're focused more on, not only the availability to pay the loan back, but they may want people take a look at your credit score. With these type of lenders and stuff, they use third-party credit bureaus, okay? And so what they're looking for, to see if you had a loan with them in the past to see if you had multiple loans out at the current time of you applying for a loan with them. All right. One of the biggest things that I continue to tell you, like with the lenders and stuff, especially tribal lenders, if they're looking to give you a loan, one of the things that they're looking at is the information on the application matching with the third-party credit bureaus they use. So they may use like Teletrack, which is owned by Equifax, or DataX, which is owned by Equifax as well. Right? So they may use Factor Trust, which is owned by TransUnion, or Clarity, which is owned by Experian. And again, this is why most people are not aware of, they're saying, well, how come I'm getting denied if it's almost a guarantee? Again, I cannot stress this enough. It's because with those third-party credit bureaus, they're holding older information. So if you were staying at apartment A for 2 years, and then you recently moved to apartment B, and that's the address on the application, apartment B, then they have the old data. So you have the right to get your credit file and actually look around and see, okay, is this it right? Is the information right? Is it correct? Right? So you have those legal rights to get that information. But a lot of people, they're thinking that, oh, they just don't want to give me a chance. It's not that they don't want to give you a chance. It's that when the information is not right, they're looking at you as a scam. I'll tell you something else, having an active checking account. And one other thing I always tell people, most of the time with a lot of these lenders, the minimum income after taxes is usually about $1,000. Okay, that's after taxes. All right, so that's usually the minimum income in order to get approved. Now, another lender you may want to take a look at is Loan at Last. Okay, so they offer loans up to $3,000 also. Then you have Rise Up Lending. So again, another tribal lender, they offer loans up to $3,000 as well. Now, here's the thing about it for some of you guys that are entrepreneurs, okay? And I get it. It's very hard for an entrepreneur that doesn't have a regular 9-to-5, doesn't have a regular paycheck to get a loan and stuff like that. However, I do tell you guys, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is to set up payroll, register your business, set up payroll, because that way, if you're able to show that you're bringing in some kind of income, then it's much easier for lenders that don't focus on the credit score to be able to give you loans and stuff like that. That's the reason we have that program to help you set up payroll, right? So if you need help with that, you can type in payroll below, and we'll send you over the link so you can register the schedule, so you can set up payroll for your business, right? So that way you're not missing out on loans just because you can't show proof of income. Right. So that being said, some of the lenders that you want to go to as an entrepreneur is like Giggle Finance. Now, many people hear me talk about, because again, they make it much easier for entrepreneurs and people that are doing side hustles, don't have a regular job, to get qualified for a loan. So what it is that they do, they offer loans up to $5,000. Okay. Even if you're doing MLM, but you're able to prove that you have income coming in, they will give you a loan. Now, the minimum time in business, they want you to have at least 90 days, okay? And show that you have payments coming into your checking account at least 3 to 4 times a month, okay? So that's really the qualifications, making sure that the minimum income, monthly income with these type of loans, you're bringing in at least $1,500 or more monthly. All right. Now, another one that offers up to $10,000 is Fundo. Okay. So with Fundo, again, another one of those lenders that don't mind working with you. Unfortunately, they're not in California. They're not working in New York because of regulations and stuff. But the rest of the country can be able to get access to these loans up to $10,000. Now, again, having an active checking account. This is what matters. A lot of people sometimes with certain lenders, like if you have Chime or whatever, they may not accept it. Some lenders do. So sometimes you have to reach out through email to let them know. If you're already in check systems and you have to use Chime or something like that, then you need to let them know so they can understand your situation. But if you have a minimum income of $1,500 and you've been in the gig economy for at least 90 days, then they're willing to work with you. So whatever you put on the application, and for us income coming in, they're going to verify with Decision Logic, okay, to see, or Plaid, to make sure that, hey, this person is being transparent with us, all right? So another lender gives you up to $20,000 is Lendeska, okay? And again, they're not asking you to make a whole lot of income. Minimum income annually is $25,000, all right? So you know you're making less than $2,000 a month, right? Well, a little over about $2,100 or something like that. 2050. As Rhea said, don't do math on camera, right? But at the same time, it's not a lot of money they're expecting you to bring in, okay? So in reference to you having a low credit score, those are the ones that are actually giving you a chance, all right? Now, let's talk about some of these other lenders. Then you have like Checking the Cash, okay? They're not in all 50 states, but Checking the Cash, not focusing on the personal credit, giving you up to $5,000. Plus, they offer a line of credit as well in some states. So again, my humble opinion, I always tell you, I would skip over the loan and go for the line of credit so you don't have to keep on applying and you can keep using it, all right? Then you have platforms that you can use that also work with tribal lenders, like Viva Payday Loans. They offer up to $5,000. The interest rates with them, with these type of platforms, the interest rates is like competitive to like a credit union or bank, because they start at it started at like 5.99, go up to 35.99. So the interest rates on those type of platforms is very low. But again, making sure that the minimum income after taxes monthly is at least $1,000 a month. Okay, then you also have Big Buck Loans, right? And they offer $5,000 loans as well. Okay. Then you have Money Mutual. Now, many people are aware of Money Mutual offering loans up to $5,000 also, and considering that it is a platform as well. Now, another platform you guys may want to consider is IndyLend. Now, IndyLend also, again, and they stated on their website, is they're not focused on the credit score. They offer up to $5,000, but considering at the same time, making sure that the information on the credit file is accurate. That's the reason we also try to tell you guys you need to get access to your credit report so you can know what's going on. All right. Now, you also have, if you just need some quick money right away, you may want to look at Chime. Chime, if you're working with Chime offers up to $500 quick loan as well. Okay, so if you have deposits going into your Chime and stuff like that they can verify, they're willing to work with you as well. Now, you also have another lender, and that's Advanced Financial 24/7. Now, with Advanced Financial 24/7, they offer lines of credit up to $4,000. Okay, now, like I said, for you guys that have a low credit score but have verifiable income and stuff like this, these are the type of loans you should be taking a look at. All right, now I know there's other lenders out there and stuff like that. However, I would be very more conservative, especially when you have a low credit score, unless you have a strong income. All right, now if you have a strong income, a low credit score, then that's when you want to look at like Universal Credit that offer loans from $1,000 up to $50,000. However, like with Universal Credit, you have to have at least your credit file has to be at least 2 years old with at least 2 trade lines on the file. okay? So that's the thing about it. So the aging of your credit file also plays a factor with some of these lenders as well. All right. So I hope this video helps you all. If you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.